When this was released, I really thought ONEUS was gonna casually drop a 17-song album out of nowhere. Although it didn't exactly turn out to be that, I really enjoyed the original tracks on this. It was nothing particularly exciting, as ONEUS's capabilities far exceed what they show off on this EP disguised as an album. Devilish Love was probably the highlight of this comeback for me, and I honestly loved watching the stages for I Know You Know. To be completely transparent, I wasn't too enthralled with this. I felt like I couldn't really get into any of the songs properly and I wasn't able to connect with it. ONEUS will always deliver incredible performances though. I was lucky enough to see them live on their Reach For Us tour more than 2 years ago now. This comeback unfortunately didn't really cut it for me though. I was quite happy with the quantity of songs on this album. It made it feel much more like a true solo debut than just something the company would push out to appease fans. I loved a lot of the songs on this EP and was overall very impressed with MINNIE's solo artist potential. The title track really reminded me of Nerdy by Purple Kiss. But honestly, there's so much music out there, it's almost impossible to not be reminiscent of another song. The variety on the EP was also great to see, and I definitely loved this much more than a lot of recent JISOO releases. I feel like MINNIE is very versatile, in that she can really fit any concept, but I felt that the concept of this project was her magnum opus, in terms of what she can pull off. I am so excited to talk about this comeback. I really saw it as more of a project than an EP. It was honestly very impressive. I really liked how the art direction all kinda tied into itself. The concept really felt like, well, a concept. I thought that the theme of self-love was very reminiscent of something SSERAFIM would put out, but IZNA really put their own twist on that theme and made it their own. The continuation of the concept into the choreography with Wonyoung's signature twirl also really brought things together. It made me feel like all of the people who worked on this were really working together rather than separately for the same cause, as is usual with pop comebacks. The songs on the EP themselves were alright. I really enjoyed TKO and Flu. I think Wonyoung and Lee Seo really shined in this comeback in their own ways. In fact, this comeback really made me love Lee Seo a lot more. Her stylists really need a raise. Altogether, this was probably my favorite comeback of IVE so far. Despite not having my favorite songs or sound, I thought it was very well planned and I was very impressed by it. This EP is legitimately magical. RESCENE are slowly but surely proving themselves as another no-skip discography group, and surely the general public will ignore them, but as we all know, only intellectuals listen to RESCENE. Crash is one of my favorite K-pop songs of the year so far, and Going On is also very much up there. The soundscapes that they create are so gorgeous and feel like a warm hug. Their aesthetic is also just a real treat for the eyes, giving their own idea of the dreamcore concept that both them and ILIT introduced around the same time. I also love that despite having the same core concept, both of those groups have put their own spin on it and both are really unique in their own ways. And if it couldn't get any better from there, these girls are also incredible performers. I feel like their talents in performing are overlooked by many who don't watch stages. Which is unfortunate because the fun they have while on stage is so contagious. I absolutely love how they are moving and I hope they continue on this path for a very long time. I was pleasantly surprised by the quality of this project. It's very K-pop, but also very unique to JISOO from her vibe to her voice. I feel like she has a certain aura that she implants into each song. I loved Earthquake the most, honestly, and I really just wish this EP was longer or she would keep making solo music, because I really love her vocal tone and feel like she really shines solo. My issue is that it's hard to say much about this when there was really nothing there. The songs were high quality, but nothing I would go out of my way to re-listen to. But in the long run, I'm honestly happy that she did this at all, and that she still has a passion for music enough to start this project and follow it to completion. It's nice to see her happy and successful whether or not I personally was a fan of the comeback. The first time I heard this single, I honestly was indifferent. I couldn't really form an opinion about it at first, and I liked Butterflies a bit better than the title track, but both were very nothing to me. As time went on, I found myself thinking about the chase more and more, then suddenly I was humming it to myself, learning the choreo, and yeah, safe to say I love this song. This is an early Song of the Year contender for me. This choreography is also just so good. I have been obsessed with the hip shake move thing ever since I first saw it. The vibes are incredible. Even Butterflies grew on me a lot, so I have really high hopes for Hearts to Hearts. The main reason I don't want to give this a 10/10 is because they don't exactly have a super intriguing concept yet to me. I love their musical aesthetic. The Y2K cybercore is very intriguing to me, but their visuals kind of look like every other group out there right now. Also, the whole debuting with a single trend is really getting to me. I'd much rather have 5 songs and a longer wait for a comeback than 2 songs and a first comeback soon. SM loves to do this and always has, so I guess that's how it'll stay for a while. This was exactly the vibe I wanted to see from YP at this point in time. I love their hip-hop concept and how they pay homage to 90s hip-hop legends, but I thought this EP served really well as an interlude comeback. The music video was incredible and I'm not even embarrassed to say it made me cry. I highly recommend watching it if you haven't yet. The commentary was so important, and having Do-eun as the star when she's actually at the age that this really happens to people was a great choice. The director of the music video, Remy Hwang, was also apparently a co-director of Life of Pi, which was super shocking for me to discover. It's not surprising considering the quality of the short film, but still a fun tidbit. One thing I was a little upset about was that I expected this to be 7 songs, and it turns out half of the songs are minute-long skits. They are still good, just got my hopes up for a YP album and let them down. DSP, please trust these girls enough to give them an album before they graduate rookiehood. Honestly, I'm not sure I have much to say about this. The music video and choreo are absolutely what hooked me about this release. I loved both, especially the personality that YEJI explores in the MV. It was very intriguing visually, and I thought the song was really fitting for the choreo. I was fond of the B-side, Invasion, but I also thought this EP didn't exactly show off everything YEJI is capable of. She is extremely well-rounded and talented in every category, and I feel as though this solo debut could have been utilized more effectively to show her skills. I really liked everything about this comeback. The EP is just as great as her first project, and maybe will grow to be even better as it ages. I loved every song, save for Rolling with My Homies, or whatever it was called. But really, every single other track was life-changing. The MV and choreo are both very distinctive and unique. My hopes are always high with SEULGI, and somehow always surpassed. When I got into K-pop, she was my first ever female bias. And my second bias ever to Teamin. She still draws me in a unique way, despite her vibe being so different from what it was like 8 years ago. SEULGI truly evolves with the time. Everything she brings to the table is always new, but it always works. She could really pull off any concept and I'd tune in, but I felt like this concept really embodied her right now. Her first project was interesting but underwhelming to me, and this was exactly what I wanted from a SEULGI solo. It's satisfying to see an artist and their audience equally happy with their art. The visuals in this comeback were absolutely amazing. The concept photos had me staring for ages, and the music video was so good, every time I wanna see it, I have to rewatch it multiple times before I feel satisfied. Despite hearing the chorus of Hot maybe a bajillion times before it came out, thanks to their TikTok promotions, it still felt refreshing and nice to hear when I listened to it properly. The title track was cute, not what I was expecting, but I liked it nonetheless. However, the B-sides of this EP were just incredible. All 4 of them were no skips, even the intro track. I was glad to see that Come Over was the promoted B-side, as it's a very creative choice utilizing a genre which is almost non-existent in K-pop. The choreo is also just addictive and I can't stop re-watching it. Ash was completely captivating to me. I think I'll be looping it until I'm old and decaying. This comeback pushed NMIXX from the last place of my ults to overtaking all but 2. Even before this song came out, this was one of the best teaser periods I have ever experienced from a K-pop group. The pre-release High Horse is genuinely one of the best songs I've ever heard. Not only is it sonically beautiful, but the meaning and the lyrics are very touching. And the EP itself did not let me down, in fact it was one of their best. No, scratch that, it was their best. Perhaps it's just recency bias, but I was blown away to the ends of the earth by the quality of these songs. The music video was gorgeous as well, usual for NMIXX. I was actually flabbergasted by just how aesthetically pleasing this concept was. Genuinely though, NMIXX's lore has never been so interesting as it is right now. In fact, I don't think I've been more intrigued by a group's lore than I am with theirs. The rollout with lore videos was incredible. The cinematography was shocking and such a great thing to see. Genuine actual movie quality stuff here, and the MV was no different. I know I mentioned it before, but really, it's just so good. I was planning on giving this a 10 whether or not the album itself met my expectations solely for the concept and rollout, but now I wish I could give it an 11 for just how good it is. Apologies for the glazing, NMIXX are one of my ults and I loved this comeback so much. This was a hell of a comeback. It took me a few listens to get it, but I'm in love with BB. It doesn't feel much like a title track, but it's a very big step in an unfamiliar direction for STAYC, and I'm so glad they're exploring this type of concept. I think it's exactly what STAYC should be doing right now. Their execution is shockingly CVRNTY. I don't know if I could even explain how much I love the aesthetic they are pulling off. The music video and choreo are so addicting and so unique. I felt the lyrics were also perfect for this change up in their style, with the theme of, "Stop calling me a baby, this is the real me." The B-side Diamond was a similar type of style to what STAYC usually puts out, which made it a very satisfying inclusion in an otherwise unfamiliar, but fantastic, single. Also, has anyone else noticed that Pipe Down interpolates GPT? That song was also surprisingly good to me. I would be lying to say I wasn't overall pleased with this comeback and this new era of STAYC. I'm very excited for how they will continue. I'm in love with KiiKii's concept, despite their hard-to-type name. The fact that the pre-release came more than a month before the actual debut was a little strange, but not super uncommon. It's just something I tend not to be too fond of. I absolutely love their vibe and they have an insane aura, for lack of a better word. The songs themselves were honestly so good and I wasn't expecting to like this style so much. Debut song was the perfect combination of weird and fun. And that's something I've been missing in K-pop. The title track, BTG, was one that combined a lot of genres into what I would call a perfect mess of a song. It hooks you, it's catchy, and it shows their talent well. To me, KiiKiii feels more like just a group of friends that happen to be performing together, and that feeling is a rare one. They also sang live in their debut showcase. What timeline are we living in? Okay, but overall I'm very intrigued by them. Their website and aesthetic are really cool so far, and I'm excited to see where they take this concept. What a crazy change of pace from Yeonjun's solo. This style of song fits BEOMGYU's voice so incredibly well. People were calling it a comfort song, and I couldn't agree more. I think BEOMGYU has a special allure to him that not a lot of other idols have, and it's showcased perfectly in this song. He feels very realistic and down-to-earth in comparison to his talents, appearance, and popularity. He's just so human, and Panic describes that feeling perfectly. Finding out he participated in writing this song and even played guitar for it just contributed to this image. I don't have much else to say because this was a single, but I wanted to include it nonetheless. The MV was not super impressive to me, and as a comeback I'll have to rate it low for lack of concept or whatever. But just know this song is very special to me. I feel like we waited years for this single, and it's still odd to me that it's only been 4 months since their debut. Seeing the concept photos go up with only 6 members was like a punch to the gut, but I'm glad Jiyoon is getting the rest she needs, and I hope she'll come back to the group when she's ready. When I first heard this song in the teasers and the dance challenges, I was almost offended by whatever was going on there. But literally on first proper listen, I loved it so much. I know I should have never doubted IZNA. The issue is without a doubt Mai's chorus part. To be clear, I love her very much as I do every IZNA member, but she sounds like a TikTok cover artist in the first chorus. I don't know why the mixing was like that or why they even had her sing that line in the first place. I'm glad she was replaced with Jimin in the subsequent choruses, though. I know the budget for this teaser period was absurdly low, but YEJI is truly going to hell for the usage of AI. That's genuinely one of my pet peeves with K-pop lately, but maybe I'll cover that in another video. Overall, this quarter was really great and filled with a lot of comebacks worthy of talking about. I hope this trend carries on into the rest of the year because I've been so excited for a lot of these concepts and I feel like I've never been so happy with the state of K-pop. Even if there were a couple that weren't up to my taste, I still streamed and enjoyed them. Literally, if a comeback is over a 2/10 I'll stream, so don't take my judgments too harshly. Tell me your opinions in the comments below. I love hearing them and discussing these releases in a more civil and intellectually based way.
저도요, 그럼. 그러면 갑시다.
좋아요. 한 5번은 봐야 이해하겠다, 이거.
그러니까.
제일